Hello everyone, my name is Sarah, and in this webinar we will talk about project accounting and how you can use Zoho Books to manage your project accounting. The agenda for today's webinar is Introduction to Project Accounting, comparing project accounting to standard accounting, benefits of using Zoho Books for project accounting, setting up a project in Zoho Books, and report analysis. To start off this webinar, let us first understand what project accounting is. This is a detailed process of tracking the financials at a project level. This method gives a detailed approach to accounting that focuses on individual projects or jobs. It involves tracking all costs associated with a project, including labor, materials, and overhead. By using project accounting, businesses can get a better understanding of the profitability of individual projects and make more informed decisions about future projects. Who is it for? Any professional firm or individuals, such as project managers or accountants, or anyone that tracks their business based on projects, can use this method to plan, monitor, and analyze tasks on a project by project basis and can then report their progress and success to management. Now let's look at how project accounting stands out from the standard accounting method. Standard business accounting tallies expenses, revenues, and budgets across an organization. Project accounting tracks costs to the project besides billing and revenue recognition for project profitability. Standard financial reports are generated at fixed intervals under standard accounting methods like quarterly or annually, which doesn't usually coincide with a project deadline. Project accounting method will allow us to generate reports based on the project's timeline, from the start date to the end date of a project. The opportunity to capture project-related details will be minimal in standard accounting. Hence, important metrics could be missed out on. Whereas with project accounting, we can track the granular details such as billable time and expenses in a comprehensive manner. Why should any business follow project accounting? The advantage of project accounting is being able to gain real-time insights at the project level. This is achieved by tracking every aspect of it, right from the number of hours you spend on the project, the expenses you incur to run the project, and the revenue that you gain from it. Project accounting also allows you to optimize costs by setting budgets for each project, where you can estimate the costs that are likely to be incurred before the project is completed. This is important as it helps set expenditure expectations where businesses can also pinpoint areas where they are overspending and take steps to reduce these costs. In addition to all this, you can also improve staff engagement by adding and managing the users based on each project. Now, since we know the importance of project accounting, let's see how it can be implemented with Zoho Books. Zoho Books is an online accounting software that automates receivables, payables, inventory tracking, banking, and financial reporting. Let's focus on the project accounting part of Zoho Books now. For your business that is looking to implement project accounting, Zoho Books offers many features to handle this efficiently. Handle multiple project billing. You can create any number of projects, and each project can have a different billing method. We support 4 types of billing methods, which are most commonly used for project handling. Hence, a few projects can be billed based on the hours logged by the staff, while another project can have a fixed cost associated to the project. You can choose the method that best suits your project needs. Set project budgets. Setting up budgets is a crucial part of project tracking, as it will help you to define targets and work towards them. In Zoho Books, you can set up both monetary and time-based budgets at each project level to help meet your budget targets set initially and know how your business is performing. Provide role-based access. When multiple employees are involved in a project and you do not want them to have access to all the project information, you can restrict their access by editing the user role permissions and also assigning a project manager for each project. Manage project documents. A project may have supporting documents such as an agreement, a project plan, etc. If you want these documents to be associated to the project, you can upload them to the respective project. Customize projects. The project creation screen in Zoho Books comprises of predefined fields for entering most commonly tracked project information. If the existing fields do not suffice, you can create custom fields to track any additional information related to the project. Automate notifications and alerts. You can use this automation module if you wish to automate a few notifications or alerts based on the components of a project. An example of this could be entering a task and assigning it to a user, and then sending out automated emails to this user to notify them that they have new tasks to complete. Or, if you would like an email alert to be triggered at the end of each week, if the total billed hours in any of your projects exceed 10 hours in that week. Hence, the automation module would help you set up any additional customizations in this way. Track time and bill clients. You can enter the time spent in the calendar view retroactively or in real time. You can either log the amount of time you spend on a project daily or weekly, or use the time widget to clock the time you spend. Based on the billable time entries that you've recorded in Zoho Books, you can invoice your clients and also track the expenses for the project in a few easy clicks. Monitor project progress. The success of any project comes with effective project management. In Zoho Books, the performance of each project can be monitored right from the project dashboard. Additionally, we have many reports that will help you to monitor the project performance extensively. These are just a few features with managing your project accounting with Zoho Books. Now, let us see how to create and manage a project in Zoho Books. Consider this example. An employee ABC is part of a fictitious design company that manages projects for different clients. He can create different projects for his clients and add tasks like development, UX UI design, testing and deployment, and can also track the status and his time spent on each task to be able to invoice his clients correctly. As he invests both time and money for the project execution, he has to define a budget to limit the expenditure and specify the expected revenue of a project. A time-based budget is also necessary for him to define targets and work towards it. Now let's see how this project accounting feature can be implemented with Zoho Books to meet his business requirements. Setting up the project. Project creation. Projects can either be created once a customer approves an estimate or right from the projects module. Choose a billing method as per your project needs. There are 4 types of billing methods. First, fixed cost for project. If you have agreed upon a fixed cost for completing a project, you can make use of this option. You will be specifying the amount for this project during creation, and an invoice will be sent to your customer once the work gets completed. Based on project hours. When you are planning to charge your customer based on the total number of hours you spend on the project, irrespective of the task and users involved, this method will come in handy. Specify the amount for an hour and charge your customers based on the time spent. Based on task hours. When there are multiple tasks involved in a project, and if each task will be charged at different rates, then based on task hours will be the suitable method of billing. Assign rates for each task and bill your customers based on the time spent on each task. Based on staff hours. When there are multiple users involved in a project, and when each of them is paid differently based on the type of work they perform, you can make use of the based on staff hours option. You will be assigning the rates for each user separately and charging your customers based on the time spent by each user in the project. Set a budget. Budgets in Zoho Books can be used to specify the ideal amount of resources that you would like to spend for a project. You could specify the cost and revenue amount, or a time-based budget to specify the total project hours or hours logged at the task or staff level. You can also choose to specify both the budgets if needed. Assign staff to the project. You will get the list of users added in your organization. Just choose your staff to be added to the project. Create tasks. You can create both billable and non-billable tasks. You can also choose to import your tasks from existing projects. This is a way to quickly add the tasks from an already existing project. For the example I had mentioned earlier, I have created this project based on the billing method as task hours. I have mentioned the tasks here and also specified the rate per hour for each of these tasks. Log time. Now that a project has been created for the customer in Zoho Books, there are various methods to log time for this project. First, enter time manually by clicking on the log time button. Either enter the start and end time or specify the hours spent on the project. Second, using the timer option. Click on log time, then start timer. The timer will start running and you can pause it when you're not working for that project. After completing the work, click on the stop timer button and a timesheet will be created automatically. Third, using the Chrome widget. We have a timer widget available on Chrome Store, which the Chrome users can use. This widget can be used for logging time, starting the timer, and also altering the timesheets without logging into Zoho Books. Timesheet approval. We have two types of approvals. The first is the internal approval for time entries and the customer approvals. Let's talk about the internal approval first. This feature allows you to submit your logged time entries to a project manager for their approval. This ensures that the manager is aware of the hours being logged and the tasks done by each of their subordinates. Once you have enabled this feature from Settings Timesheets, you will be able to see this option, Enable Approval for Time Entries, when creating a project. You can just choose the manager or approver for the project and create the project. All the internal approvals created will be listed under the Approvals tab in the Time Tracking module. Once an approval is submitted, it can either be approved or rejected by the project manager. Once approved, It can be invoiced or sent to your client for their approval. The second type of approval is the customer approval. Customer approval allows you to get your time entries verified and approved by the clients you're working for. This would let the clients know the total number of hours you worked for them. Let's see how to create a client approval and submit it. Once you have enabled this feature from Settings Timesheets, click on Time Tracking and go to Projects. While creating a new project, you will see an additional field, Enable Client Approval for the time entries of this project. If you wish to send the time entries of this project for approval, then click on this box. And once you've logged the time, you can create approvals and submit the time entries to your clients. As you can see, there is a new module called Client Approvals. Click on that and then click on Create Approval. Select the customer name, then enter a name for the approval. You can give a description and a due date for responding to the approval. If you wish to send only the time entries of a particular project for approval, then you can choose the project from the drop-down. All the time entries created for this project will be listed. Select the ones that need to be approved and then click on Save if you wish to save the approval and submit it to the client later. However, if you wish to submit the approval right away, you can click on the Save and Submit. The customers will be notified through email and they can approve or reject this in the client portal. Depending on the action, the status will get changed in Zoho Books automatically. Note, only the approved time entries can be invoiced. The comments of the time entry can be viewed over here and you can reply to the comments over here. Create transactions. Now that we have completed the process of logging time, the next step is to create transactions for the time spent. Expenses. You can create your expense transaction to record all the expenses incurred for the completion of the project. You can click on the New Transaction drop-down in the Projects page, or select the customer name and the project name when creating an expense from the Expense module to record all the expenses from your end to complete this particular project. When you're finally ready to bill the customer, you can create and send your invoices. To create an invoice, head on to the Project section, open the project, and click on the New Transaction drop-down and click on Create Invoice. You can specify the details that you would like to show on the invoice in the next screen. All the unbilled timesheets for that particular project will be added to the invoice. The clients can then click on the Pay Now button if you have integrated your Zoho Books organization with the payment gateway and pay for the invoice sent for the work you have done for the project. Mobile applications. We also have the projects module in the mobile applications. When you're doing work outside the office, it shouldn't go unnoticed. You can just open the projects module in the Zoho Books mobile application and log hours for your tasks. You also get to see a daily, weekly, or monthly view of your logged hours, so you can see all the hard work you've put in and your projects stay by your side even when you're traveling. Reports. While project accounting is a necessary tool, it's also a demanding one. You'll need to track and record when the team spends money or earns revenue, compare project budgets to projections, and make regular, frequent reports to management. For example, if the managers or stakeholders want to know how the project is progressing, the project accountant should be able to tell them. With the Zoho Books accounting platform, you don't have to worry about coordinating the sub-ledger and the general ledger. Zoho Books syncs your project accounting and general accounting so they work together seamlessly. Let's look into the specific project reports that we have. First is the project dashboard. The performance of each project can be monitored right from the project dashboard itself. Let's see how this design company can get their insights from the reports. Profit and loss at a project level is something you cannot find in standard accounting. In Zoho Books, you can either check the dashboard for the profitability graph or click on this profitability report button to run the profit and loss for this specific report. As you can see, all the expenses and income associated to the project is added, showing me the total profit of the website redesigning project this employee had undertaken. We also have more specific reports like the expenses by project report that will show this employee all the expenses associated to his project, helping him cut down on additional costs if needed. We have another report called the Timesheet Profitability Summary Report. This will show you the profit based on the hours logged. This employee ABC can now see how many hours are profitable and can also identify if there are any projects where he's spending more than he's earning and hence which are not profitable. The total cost column will track the cost associated with paying his staff to work on the time entries. These reports will help the employee spend his time wisely in choosing and prioritizing the profitable projects, and he can also identify which staff can work better and more efficiently based on the projects assigned to them. We have 3 budget reports: the project cost summary, the project revenue summary, and the project performance summary. As mentioned earlier, when you create a project, you can mention both the revenue budget and the cost budget. Based on this value, you can run these budget reports. The project cost summary and the project revenue summary reports will show the actual cost or revenue from the transactions and the budget amount. This employee can now see the budgeted versus the actual revenue or cost, and it will give him a better idea on how to stick to the budgets initially planned. The project's performance summary report will show the entire performance of the project, including the difference in cost and revenue. So for the website redesigning project, employee ABC had recorded $50 as the budgeted cost and $30 was the actual cost incurred for the project, thus showing the difference of minus $20. The budgeted revenue was recorded as $1,000, but as of now, only $325 is the actual revenue. So minus $675 is shown as the difference. The profit percentage is taken from the actual cost and the actual revenue values. Hence, this employee ABC can run this report for all his projects at a regular interval and can easily find out if his projects is over budget or nearing budget limits. This will give him a detailed comparison on the projected budget versus the actual performance of his projects undertaken. We have another report called the Project Summary Report. This report will give you a clear picture of how much has been billed and how much is yet to be billed. You can get an idea of how much you have earned and how much revenue you can expect from the project from this report. Let's say employee ABC logged 5 hours for the website redesign project. He can see it's within its budgeted hours. Whereas he has to keep an eye out for the other projects where he is going over the budget drastically. We can then see the billable versus non-billable and the billed versus unbilled comparison, and check the time spent for the billable hours and non-billable hours. If his employees are spending too much time on non-billable hours, something that won't bring up his business revenue, he can correct and inform the employees about this. Hence, we can see how these multiple reports can increase productivity while also providing accurate financial reports. We have reached the end of our webinar. Hope the session was informative. We also plan on following up with another webinar talking about Zoho projects and how you can integrate your Zoho Books organization with Zoho projects. Stay tuned for that. You can use the chat box to post your queries or use the raise your hand option to ask any questions you have. Thank you for tuning in. Have a great day.